Coming up on Mountain News this morning, Amber Spradlin's family is asking the community to be patient, trust law enforcement, and to not spread rumors about what happened. And the FDA approved an over-the-counter birth control contraceptive, and some Kentuckians see this as a win after newly passed abortion laws.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News this morning.
Good morning, I'm Olivia Calfee. The time is 6:32 on July 14th. Now let's check in with First Alert meteorologist Cameron Aaron for a look at your forecast this morning. And luckily, I told you guys that it was 6 o'clock, unlike earlier.
6:32. So
yes.
Yeah, we're starting out on the right foot.
We're doing good this morning.
Yeah, so
absolutely.
Olivia, if you have any plans, maybe after the show to go out for some breakfast or something, you may need the umbrella because a few showers are possible out there this morning. Also watching out for some dense fog in some areas as well. The good news, no severe weather, but some heavier showers cannot be ruled out in some areas. Here's a look at First Alert Pinpoint Doppler this morning. And again, nothing too widespread, but a few heavier showers are possible in some areas. Here's a closer look to Magoffin County, also Knott County. A heavier shower now just to the east of Hindman and Knott County. Also watching out for a heavier shower near Irvin and Estill County as well. Again, nothing severe, but a few heavier showers are going to be possible in some areas this morning. Not going to rain everywhere, but some of you may see a few showers. Those visibilities also down in some areas to 0 at Harlan and Moorhead, 1 mile in Bell County and Middlesboro. So again, possibly some dense fog in some areas this morning as well. Those temperatures, they stay mild and muggy. Right now in the lower 70s for most of us. We top out in the upper 80s later on today. The temperatures stay in the 80s, but the feels like temperature will stay in the 90s later today. So take those heat safety tips very seriously. Watching out for possibly a few showers, not going to be widespread, but more rain chances are likely on Saturday, and some of those could be a little bit strong. All those details on the way in just a few minutes. Olivia?
A man found shot yesterday in Lexington has died. Police were on Whitney Avenue yesterday where they found a man with a gunshot wound. They took him to UK Hospital where he later died. The victim was 31-year-old Stacy Marshall. This is the city's 12th homicide this year. A Floyd County man is behind bars following a traffic stop. Martin City Police made the stop near Kentucky 80 near Cracker Bottom Road Wednesday evening. Inside the car, police say they found a small baggie containing a white crystal-like substance, which they suspect is meth. Police arrested 54-year-old John W. Klein of Martin, who also reportedly had an outstanding warrant for driving on a suspended license. Klein was taken to the Floyd County Detention Center. One Laurel County man was taken into custody on DUI charges after he was found asleep in the driver's seat of his truck. The Laurel County Sheriff's Office received a call Wednesday morning after complaints of a gray pickup truck blocking a portion of Clearview Road with a man passed out in the driver's seat. When deputies arrived, they found 27-year-old Justin Goforth of London slumped over the steering wheel. Goforth was taken to the Laurel County Correctional Center. Crews were back out at Laurel Lake yesterday searching for a man nearly a week after he was last seen. Search and rescue crews have been looking for the 51-year-old victim since last Friday. His friends told officers his life jacket resurfaced, but he did not. A cadaver dog was brought in to help with the search. His name has not yet been released. And some sad news for the Hazard community. A coach for 40 years in the Hazard Independent School System has died. Wade Linden died Wednesday at the age of 66. Linden was a star player at Hazard and was part of the first team to play on Daniel Field. He later helped coach football and basketball. He was also an Army veteran and served in various roles at the Eastern Kentucky Veterans Center in Hazard for 22 years. His visitation will be Monday, July 17th from 11 a.m. until a memorial service at 1 p.m. at Maggard's Mountain View Chapel. And yesterday, people said their final goodbyes to a well-known Southern Kentucky couple. Lewis Catron and his wife Carol died Friday from accidental carbon monoxide poisoning. The Pulaski County Sheriff says they left their truck running in the garage. Lewis' brother was Sam Catron. He was the Pulaski County Sheriff that was killed in April of 2002. The death of Amber Spradlin has troopers with Kentucky State Police investigating a murder as the community begs for answers. With rumors and false information pouring through the community, officials say tips have been coming in. But those working the case say not every tip has been rooted in truth. Investigators and family members say they understand the desire for answers, but they also say going after every false lead is costing precious hours.
While we appreciate that and we appreciate your support, because behind all of those theories, that's truly what I think people are trying to give is their support and their love to us. But we would just urge them to wait until there's statements made that are factual and use the facts to kind of go forward.
The family says they are confident in the investigators and hope to see answers coming soon. A Kentucky veteran has dedicated much of his life to helping others. Now he needs some help himself. 2 years ago, we first introduced you to Brian Ambergy. The Winchester man with ties to Knott County advocates for fellow veterans exposed to toxic water at Camp Lejeune. But his own health is declining. Garrett Weimer has this update.
You all right over there?
Yeah. It's not a cliche.
I gotta stop for a minute.
Brian Ambergy is fighting an uphill battle.
Now
he's like to walk 5 feet.
Health problems are catching up with Ambergy, a Marine veteran exposed years ago to Camp Lejeune's toxic water. From protests to petitions, Ambergy dedicated the last decade of his life.
We feel like we're getting treated as second-class citizens.
To calling on Congress for action and reaching his fellow veterans.
When we started this years ago, we never thought that today, almost a year after the bill was signed into law, that we would be in the same position that people that we've been trying to help.
Ambergy was at the White House when President Joe Biden signed into law the Honoring Our Pact Act, which includes language from the Camp Lejeune Justice Act. That was August 10th, the same day Ambergy says he started noticing his own health issues.
Garrett, when you done it for my first story, all I had was just a bottle for allergies, and now that's my breakfast and dinner every day.
This is the antifungal.
He takes more than a dozen different medications and vitamins daily as he deals with emphysema, COPD, and potential lung cancer. None of those are conditions presumed to be connected to Camp Lejeune service, but records show they have been found to be service-connected in some veterans. Lung cancer is one of 15 conditions related to Camp Lejeune covered by VA healthcare without a copay. Now Ambergy says he's also fighting a lung infection caused by mold found in the ductwork of their mobile home. Repairs, they say, would cost more than it's worth. Instead, they moved out.
Come in if you want to, Garrett.
Lately, they had been staying here in a camper at the Red River Boat Dock and Campground, in between their many hospital stays and out-of-town doctor visits.
And it's just tough, you know, not be able to do anything, and knowing that lost everything we'd worked so hard for.
Not only do they now find themselves in a tight spot financially,
I've went from being upset to angry to I'm just bitter at how our system is.
they're also seeing firsthand the need for what they fought for all these years, frustrated with the VA over repeated difficulties, denials, and delays.
They say they're there for the veterans. They're there to let the veteran die, is what they're there for.
That's how you feel?
That's how I feel.
Yeah.
They're not there to help us.
And they've learned there's still work to do.
I'm not going to quit fighting for my fellow veterans and their families till everybody gets justice.
Even as he fights his own battle, Ambergy refuses to leave anyone behind. In Clark County, Garrett Weimer, WYMT Mountain News.
The Winchester VFW Post and Auxiliary recently raised money for the Ambergys. Right now, they're using that money to rent a townhouse to stay in. They've set up a GoFundMe, and there are also some other fundraisers in the works to help them. The FDA has approved the first non-prescription daily oral contraceptive. The FDA says this provides an option for people to purchase the oral contraceptive over the counter. This comes after a battle in the state over abortion. Julia Sandor spoke to one organization that shares the effect this could have on Kentuckians.
Anytime we reduce the barrier to birth control, it's a win.
Kentucky's Planned Parenthood Alliance Advocates Director Tamara Weeder says the FDA's approval of over-the-counter oral contraceptives is a stepping stone.
While birth control is really one of the best ways to reduce unintended and unplanned pregnancies, it's not 100%.
According to the FDA, half of the 6.1 million pregnancies in the country are unintended. Weeder says O-pill could change those statistics. The trigger law that took effect in Kentucky more than a year ago made near all abortions illegal in the state, the only exceptions being to save the mother's life or prevent disabling injury. Weeder says she hopes the contraceptive remains over the counter.
There can be intimidation factors if it's behind the pharmacist's counter. I know that in some rural communities, when everybody knows who you are, that can be a barrier to accessing reproductive health care.
She says 73 counties in the state do not have OB/GYNs. So even though you won't need a prescription for O-pill, she recommends you still see a doctor for yearly examinations.
And so my hope is that people still go get those examinations because they're life-saving.
And Weeder adds that educating yourself and knowing your own body is important because understanding will allow for safe and efficient use.
And I think as we find ways to make birth control more accessible and more available, we will see unintended pregnancy numbers go down. That's the hope.
In Lexington, Julia Sandor, WKYT.
The availability of O-pill will be determined by the manufacturer. There is no timeline for when it will be in stores.
We are watching out for scattered showers and storms across the mountains this morning. Nothing too widespread, but some of you may see a few sprinkles as you wake up and walk out the door. A heavier shower pushing into portions of Floyd County, also eastern Knott County. Just a heads up near Wayland and Garrett, a few heavier showers not too far away. Also tracking a cell not too far away from downtown Irvin in Estill County. This will continue pushing off to the south and east, so a first alert in Lee County. Possibly a few heavier showers not too far away, and a thunderstorm not too far away from Isonville, also Blaine and Lawrence County. This will continue pushing into your direction, so you may need the umbrella as you wake up and walk out the door this morning. Those current temperatures, they are mild and muggy, lower 70s across the mountains, 70 for Pikeville, 73 in Jackson, and 72 over in Pulaski County this morning. If you have any plans to celebrate your Friday at the playground, going to be a warm one out there. Temperatures topping out in the middle to upper 80s. Watching out for possibly a few showers. Not going to rain everywhere, but some of you may see a few showers today. But higher rain chances on the way for Saturday. All those details coming up in just a few minutes. Olivia?
Thanks, Cameron, and thank you for joining us. The time is now 6:44. Still to come on Mountain News this morning. Federal food assistance for children in the United States is in jeopardy as some states refuse to sign a relief program.